So, good morning, everybody. How are you today? Thank you so much for being here and talk more about how to build AI agents in Slack. And my name is Maria Jose Hernandez, and I'm a senior developer advocate at Slack from Salesforce. Before we dive into the content of this presentation, I just want to make sure that you don't base any of your purchasing decisions on the content that you're going to be seeing here today. So, as I said before, thank you so much for taking the time being here today because, as you know, time is the most valuable asset we have. But, however, we spend almost 20% of our weekday just going through information from different systems and spending a lot of time in there. Information could be catching up from a meeting that you missed or a conversation you missed, going through some information to respond to one of your colleagues, and so on. And there is a couple of reasons why this happened. First, there is a lot of there's a lot of data and information that we have to consume. Second, it's really difficult to find it in the time that we need it, in the moment that we need it. And third, that the information that we need is scattered across different systems. And finally, when you do have all the information you need, it's really hard or not really clear to know how to use it in the moment that you need it. So it's no wonder that 47% of knowledge workers struggle to find the data and the information they need to perform their job they need to do. So, overwhelmed by all this information available for them, employees are wasting valuable time looking for this data and this information instead of doing the job that they were hired to do. Customer success teams takes longer to respond to clients because they have to go and look for the information they need to be able to respond. So that results in lower, higher response times by lower customer satisfaction. Then we also have sales teams that are spending a lot of time, probably a third of their working week on non-selling activities, and instead they could use that time to start conversations with the clients and start building relationships with them, which will result in better and higher revenue targets for them. And then finally, project deadlines are missed. When you have a new project, it's really difficult to move forward with the project if you don't have the latest information. And it's includes making sure that everybody in the team is on board, updating the current information on the status of the project, and so on. So while these project deadlines are missed, they're stuck between multiple systems trying to gather this different information. And this time that we spend endlessly looking for that information will compound over time, over weeks, over hours, and in the end it will result into less productive teams and more time wasted. So many of our customers are navigating silo and disconnected data that keeps them from delivering AI business solutions. Their data is scattered everywhere, and it's really difficult to gather all that in the same place. They go from different types of apps, mainframes, and data. They are in different types of formats. So we have on one side structured data, like the one that you're gonna find with CRMs, transactional data, and then we have unstructured data, like the one that you find in emails, social media, and documents. And there is a lot of data to consume. So in that trapped data, there is trapped value. And even if you could wrap all your data from the different sources and you just plug it into an LLM, there's still some concerns that the enterprise and the organizations need to address in order to make this happen. And this is where Slack comes in. So in Slack, every day we send over 700 million messages. And so as teams work in Slack, knowledge across different people, data, tools, and resources compound over time. So you have a big database of information that you can use on your favor. And you have context on past projects, background into decisions made, and subject matter expertise already available for you as a data source. And when unstructured data in Slack from conversations, structured data coming from CRM, transactional data, and insights from AI all come together in Slack, organizations are sitting in a wealth of information and data that they can use online for the favor. So right in Slack, teams can harness the power of data with AI, and they can use it to faster and smarter find information to make decisions easier and stay ahead of their workday. And I'll say Slack, we call it the work OS because it's the place or the interface when a lot of different people, data, tools, processes come together in a place when people is already working and having those conversations. So it just makes sense, since it's a conversational tool, to bring conversational AI into the conversation. So it's way easier. It will be like talking to another teammate, and it will make this organization of the different projects and so on easier and faster for everybody. And a way to harness the power of Slack with AI, we have different types of integrations that you can use from the get-go. So we start with the applications that you can find online to Slack Marketplace. So think of all the applications that you already use every day, and that you can just go and find it in the marketplace and connect to them. That will be the first step of making this productivity hub more powerful. But if you want to use the power of those apps into an automation, because there is some routine tasks that you feel like you can convert into an automated workflow for making your work life easier, you can create workflows with our native tool called Workflow Builder. And it's really simple. It's like a drag and drop, and you create different steps. And you have a really powerful automation that you can connect with the apps that you already have installed within Slack. And if that is not enough, then you can go a step forward with another type of apps, things it's powered by the Slack platform. So the Slack platform gives you a series of tools and resources to help you build your own Slack apps. You can have Slack apps that are powered by our framework called Bolt in different languages. We also have a set of different SDKs that you can use for another different languages, but you can choose the language of your choice and then create your own integrations just by calling the Slack API methods in Slack. With this, so we have integrations out of the box, then we have automations made from Workflow Builder, and then with custom solutions with the different frameworks or SDKs, we can add AI to those solutions that we creating ourselves. So that's how we can integrate AI into those solutions. And another way to make it easier if you don't want to build your own apps is to use the power of Salesforce Agentforce. And Agentforce will allow you to create agents in their own interface with agent builders that will help you create those agents and plug it directly into Slack so you can integrate faster, and teams and in your organization can use it for the various purposes. So we're gonna see how that looks later in the demo. But the good idea about this is like you're just bringing an agent to perform tasks to leverage the features that already like Slack is already offering, like creating a canvas, like adding things to a list, and so on. So now that we have more or less an idea of like the different sets of information and integrations that we have in Slack, let's see how we can start creating first an assistant that we can turn into an agent using the Slack platform. And then we'll see how we can also integrate Agentforce if that's like your agent of choice. So while we see the video, let me tell you more about the Slack platform. And then you can find more information if you go to the booth. And then we have different demos, and you can see like what's new on Slack, the different ways to like keep on building on the Slack platform. So we have a really nice developer program that you can join. They will like provide you with different sandboxes, and you can test all the features that we have available for you in Slack, and get started with like building Slack apps in a different frameworks and SDKs that we talked about before. As well as an integration that we have directly with AWS. So we have, we talk about like the different apps in the marketplace. One of them is the AWS chatbot that you can just like search for it and connect directly to it and start using it in Slack. Another thing is the Amazon queue. Have a different setup that you can find in the Amazon website. No, that's not it. And you can find demos, like live demos of everything that I'm just telling you about if you go and see it in the booth, and you will see it in more detail. So while this gets sorted, let me tell you more about like what I wanted to show you here. So like assistants you can like really connect to really easily, and like creating Slack apps like will allow you to do that really quickly. So we initialize our app using, in this case, the bold. Yes, that's it. Yeah, perfect timing. Thank you. Oh no, you would switch to the other one. It is okay. We can show you if you go to the booth, like this slide demo. But basically, like you can start creating assistants. And what I really wanted to show you here was how easy it was to create one just by using the templates that are available for you in the sample apps and the GitHub repository. So we have a new assistant class. This assistant class comes with different methods. One of the methods is like to initialize in the thread. So you start a conversation already giving some prompts to the user, so they can like just click on it and like start getting having a conversation with the LLM of your choice. So in this case, for this example, I use Bedrock that connects really well with other systems. So if you already have all your infrastructure on AWS, you can use Bedrock and choose the model of your choice to start like creating this conversational assistant. Then what I did is, because we have a client object within the Bolt framework, you can use the client object to call any method on the Slack API, right? So from creating a new channel, adding things to a canvas, adding things, people to that specific channel. So depending on your use case and what you want to use your assistant for, you can connect to those different methods. So what I did is to create those actions to let my assistant know what they could like do when the people ask like, oh, this is a really nice summary of the text that I just gave you. It would be really nice to add it to a canvas. So you're turning your assistant into an agent by just adding those actions just by calling the Slack API. And then finally, if that's really powerful, you can control it on your own. Like you can add the things that you want, because you're in control of the code that you create. But if you want like an easier way to do this, and if you're already using Salesforce as well, where you have all your structured data, you can connect it to the unstructured data in Slack by creating an agent using the agent builder in Agentforce. So we have like all the different demos in our booth for you to see. If you're really interested, like just go over there and we tell you everything, and we're able to show you this as well. So yeah, So this is more or less what I say. You can either use Agentforce from Salesforce to create that agent. You can use the LLM of your choice. In this demo, I had prepared with Bedrock, but we can connect directly to OpenAI. It's just like an API call, as it is. You can use the power of the different frameworks like Bolt to create those, like get started really quickly and create the Slack apps. A really cool thing about using one of our SDKs based on Dino is that you can create functions that call directly a specific LLM and then just plug it as another step in your workflow using Workflow Builder. You can make that step available for a lot of people in your organization so they can like reconfigure the different steps and create more powerful workflows when they need it and for the functions that they needed depending on the different teams. Right? So if you're interested in like building something that you didn't see today, but like you can also create, I'll let you like this assistant sample app. I'll navigate also the GitHub repository because we have more examples on the different things that you can build or that you can just like clone and start using right away from Slack. Remember, you can also have different apps in the Slack marketplace that you can connect to. In this case, like the AWS chatbot, and as I mentioned before, we also have the Amazon queue that you can connect. That is all the information on the installation is available on their website. And then finally, for more like customization, so like customized solutions, you can always create your own Slack app. And so just like a summary of like what we've seen today here, just makes sense to bring conversational AI to the platform when like the conversation is already happening. If you want this personalized solution, you can create it yourself. You can connect to third-party apps that are available for you in the Slack marketplace. And you can always add AI to your custom solutions, but we also have the whole marketplace full of like 13,000 plus apps that already are AI powered. So as I mentioned, like come visit in our demo so we can show you all this live. Visit our developer hub at slack.dev when we have different resources like links to the documentation tools and blog post developer stories, but also different workshops and resources for you to get started building with Slack. And that'll be it for today. I'm so sorry about the demo, but like come over, we'll show you.